Dong de jie 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 re zhen zhen yin jie me de jie ban jian ba su jie lun bo da wu ji be ge jie 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 be jie dong ge xuan za dur jian jian jie de le na ro dai ma ba ma la ji jie gong bo ba pa mo zhi ba jia ban zhe gong ba ga jue le ma nan jie da jian jie Da ne de ne zera dam jie de la ma la ba la ye jie zo zong la zong yo de jiang zeng a la wan den zhe dong xian zhe pe ge le zo da ge lo ji zhen zhe wa zhen jie la de zo jie lam de zhe wa zhen jie la de zo lan zhe wa jie wa zhen jie la de zo 这外一咱家玩人家老的说，刚个等见了玩就搞把没把接，没把接把没把到，没把完没把着没把。他的都没对见没，这半年接接等把，做不上节没能接，等把的了想做的。真心做不了嘛，去接个送都接人乱的那个就乱呗。 大概等把单身姐姐东家肩膀这边人家老的说，刚打错就东跟接电那对接龙门就把刚算他等，咱们姐姐家人伯伯你不能都把当见的姐姐，那么老一个到老当都见个，这我们都当没个当当，这我跟姐这个接上吧。 他们这个的大概觉得多，能够当年不心情他们接，等的那那没把样的不做不三节去过马上不去多把这家，第一期的单北去讲些新的多年是老门酒，年不三八将军就的三七八当，去年不公主当兰德马那不过呢新本草。 Tene tela gang simbra sebe chune tene kepa tang dripo wangbo jupsi malare pe tukse nyami gambo pa teni jinze pe lamcho ren chinchwa tere tene ta teren te mapang wa sa chu chu nang ke nga pa tere.
Taking a moment to turn your mind towards the wish for the welfare and benefit of all sentient beings, thinking that with this objective in mind, you shall engage in Dharma activities, and in particular, the activity of listening to the Dharma or receiving Dharma teachings for the purpose of guiding all sentient beings to the state of full liberation and the completely perfected awakening of Buddhahood. So in this way, generating a mind of love and compassion and bodhicitta, then we can listen to the Dharma teachings with a clearly understanding or clearly aware of what should be practiced or what should be adopted and what it is that should be abandoned or discarded. So please listen in this way to the teachings. And we are continuing with these instructions from the incredibly accomplished and extraordinarily learned great master who is the heart disciple of Jitsun Milarepa Gampopa in his these teachings on the precious garland of the Supreme Path, and in the categories of, or in the section of the 10 things that should not be abandoned, we are on we ended with number 5. Last time.
Sajapa lama nampe sumba yindo sendela hina chuba mi song chedang arang su tambe chujo ndu sendele ke 신차 탐제 중세 방어도 따지대 가르침보 차도 요리 내가 나 인게
che drogando ke yabo kogame
ngonje 사자 바 라마 남파크 숨바 따르드 첸델라 신송아이나 데니 추바 양다 바차야라 갈레 카보요레 송레 덴다 송장 ngaranzo 첸디기 데니 심바당 추바당 델라소바데 중세 방토 따지데 가르침보리 다랑ngaranzo 추히안데양 첸디게 신차단 춘낭 탐제 방월샤베치도 헤케요 바로와
So, as the great Sakyapa master has said, if there is attachment to this life, then one isn't a real Dharma practitioner. And so, in order to really, truly, authentically practice or accomplish the Dharma, then we have to give up attachment to this life in order to really practice the Dharma perfectly. And so when there is attachment to this life, then that just increases the phenomena of delusion, the delusional phenomena. And so as much as we can, little by little, give up clinging and attachment to the concerns of this life, this is really to our great benefit. This is very important. So the instructions here then are to give up as much as we can, to abandon the delusion and fixation to the concerns of this life.
다 말아서 그 람상 첸데게 신차 방터야 갈레카보리데 강特게 그 흉충을 동야 대가랑 속에 맵절지나 토크요리 데나인장
And so while it is, really difficult to immediately just give up clinging to this life completely, we can lessen our grasping, we can lessen our fixation to this life, and by making an effort to do so, we can greatly diminish or decrease it.
Horita 가장 고는 휴바케 디 레줌데 티콜리 티 돈싱아 바난다 심진제 데독 탐제 레레 중화인베 렘레 멀버 시퍼샤소 가장 고나 간란 간차 만보시 쉬유바리 데니 다저당 아랑소 렘데 시바데 하자 차버그란 인지강 리 디기 하자 차버그란 인데 산제 냐제게 하고그르마도 갈레카보레 이네 양아란 쪽에 레줌데 말라바임바 하고버시브 ngarang chola tik tawa ndo zenare te ta ngarang chok yichi te go yorida malabe imba te ngarang chok ha ko yo bare
And so we began discussing number 5 in this section of things not to be abandoned. And so it says in number 5, since all the pleasures and sufferings of sentient beings arise from karma, the result of actions should be regarded as unfailing or non-deceptive. And so as we got into it a bit yesterday, generally speaking, to really deeply understand and become familiar with karma, cause, and effect, or karmic interdependence, is very important. And if it is really understood, then there is the vision of just how vast and subtle karmic interdependence is. So it goes down to a very, very subtle level. And this is very difficult to perceive for any, in fact, it is said that no one except for the Buddha himself can fully understand karma, cause and effect in its entirety with every subtle aspect of its unfolding. But karma, cause and effect, karmic interdependence itself is completely undeceiving. It is infallible. And so when we hold the view of confidence in karma, cause and effect, and as much as we observe and become familiar with karma, cause and effect, we come to really see that it truly is undeceiving.
Soso gale sapa te tang take yori te can drive the me yung yori sumbarwa teni le maje pachi tang ne yang around te tanda can drive chik me batana yung mari sumbare ina tang around so sam de o matsama ke le chik pa chik chang che sa ke yo jumare masoso la some no manda watang teni mososola tendake le manda sak yo barwa teni chamsang around so la lekin driven do the chikpa chikjang mi ngondwa pena makhahepe hachang ga chawa chimbo yo sala de go banda watang makhahe hachang namshi drama hyu yo sala de go banda watang teni tela soba ke len dawo hyundo tenda kandari sambayina tande jimthun gele se japjing garchen boji yangse sungko yor perna hedang chimboji na teni hedang jin chama teni nyamde ro jin teni yang sacha dawo chigla derindu teni tela karela khungar nyarwas troyong ko yor sumbarwa tinan hinke tang arang jimthun ke le zun sa ya bartelati ne yang ko tara chipa jimthun alabre kantar ta le de kin rebete chamala nyam de na mi yong ba tana yong ko yoris
And so we might often we think, so each individual has such a kind of unique accumulation of causes, of specific karmic causes, which ripen as fruition. And so oh, no, I'm sorry, we're not there yet. Excuse me. So each individual, each individual who collects the particular karmic causes experiences the ripening of that, of the fruit that corresponds with those causes. If they're not the karmic causes, then there's not the fruition. And so we may think, that, or we often will think, well, of course, everyone has such a unique variety of karmic accumulation. So everybody's karmic accumulation is not the same. There's such a variety of different actions that each individual engages in, creating causes, and such a wide variety of different intentions or motivations behind those causes. And so therefore, all of our karmic ripenings, our karmic experience should be, so unique and different. And yet, still, sometimes we seem to experience the same ripening fruition together. So why is that? So, for instance, there are some who collectively experience the karma of extremely hot weather. There are some who collectively experience the karma of extremely cold weather. And the reason for this is because this is a certain category of karmic ripening, which is collective karma. So there is individual karma, and then there is collective karmic ripening, which occurs for a group of individuals. And so also Kyabje Garchen Rinpoche has often said, if there's somebody who has really strong anger, actually all of the people who are afflicted by really intense anger are sort of gathered together and experience the hell realms. They are reborn in the states of hell realms. And so this environment of being in the hell realms is also collective, an example of collective karma. And so in this way, we have, the ripening of collective karma and the karma which corresponds with the cause.
All right. Tanita lemde yang soso la mandra chin miya yobari soso kale satang la dine perna pama jik ba ke bugu ni yu na tene bugu jik de chutin ya bo pamjo ya bo chudo ya ga goga ya bo yo de ba ta yang bugu yimba de la de ta mi de wa lemde kan sen le jumde se ya tan chu sen meng zam mugo ba de ta cha ya tan tela soba ke manda ban do yang te ko le manda ba sabala tine yang je manda ba mi ba te yang yoris.
However, within the ripening of collective karma, there are also simultaneously a whole set of individual karmic fruitions which are also ripening or being experienced separately. So for instance, often you might have a situation where there are two children born into one family, born from the same parents, and so obviously they share a certain amount of experience, which becomes their collective karma. But they also have very unique experiences, very different a set of very different karmic ripenings. In fact, you might have one who is really, has a very bright disposition, who is interested in study and learning, who kind of has a natural inclination toward Dharma practice, who has conditions arise that really are conducive to Dharma practice. And the other one might be completely the opposite. They might not even have any interest in Dharma. They may not have even heard about karma, cause, and effect. And so in this way, you often have very unique karmic ripenings going on simultaneous with the ripening of collective karma.
Ta tela soba ke chigle de le kare sakbala tin rev te ta ba chungari sendu ta pha char ro wa ina tene teng sabori sanje nya je ke chu yor lam na ri sanje khona ga ko wa ta cha de yore ten za ten ta tang e dong ji khya ins.
And so there are so many causes that are being created and fruitions that are ripening in any given moment. There are so many. And it is so vast, and the sort of the interrelationship between them is so intricate that it becomes more and more subtle. So it just goes to deeper and deeper levels of subtlety. And for it is, as is said, there is no one who can really see this great network of karmic interdependence clearly and in its entirety, except for the Buddha himself.
Nima da sanji jomdin de dang tini kongke kormangbo nyamde yogdo yobari tin na sharup puchara yang yoris.
To exemplify this, there is a story of when the Buddha, the transcendent conqueror, who was abiding in the midst of many of his followers. So he was surrounded by many followers, many monks, and among them was Shariputra. He was there together with Shariputra.
Tene tinan ka loma chike sanje la kandi chibare. Sharup putarande tene di pamjor chubo yemba tenda la yang maji. Yang pamjor tenda hajang ke jo yo ba te tabela chimsang la yang maji. Tene pamjor ringbo yo ba tenda chile jindos. Tene tenda chile jine kong rabda chungwa ta rabda chung sene chahwa riwa tenda chando wa te kare jine chungwa ri sanje la shiwa ris.
Gongta, so Lama Chikshu or Loma Chikshu, tini the Shuegi di Sharibu Gikor, deve Sharibu Korang, Pajor Chupo Yomare, Yang Pajor Meba Chen Yomare, Dingbo Chikla, de Shariputra, deve.
Shariputra kare jine tenda chibare ze loma cheke ya shubare was sanjela. Sanjela loma mambo nyamdo tsode yoro tinang loma cheke sanjela ya trawa tibarewa sharupute di chupo chigla yang maji di chang urpo chigla yang maji tini di chang rimbo chigla jibarendo ji tini kong tele rabda chong trawa chedo te kare chin jebare sin sanjela ya trawa hyuris.
So there, in this gathering of the disciples, there was one disciple who asked the Buddha, so Shariputra has not been born into a very rich family, nor is he born into a very poor family. He was born into a sort of middle class family, and then he took up he became, he took ordination. So what are the causes for this?
Sanje Tene sanje ke lin namare trawatin quintila. Lin kare namare sina ngamo shiglas tutu ngamo shigla tene japo che yores tene japo te ke japo te la jarse ching chungwares. Then jarse te ya chalong chong yongdu tene japo te gen sam leka ya pochi yang sam ko dikpa mege wa mambo druku yodu tene jarse te ke sambala Oh, ta nga ya salong chong chadu nga mangbala jarpo chaya re. Ta nga jarpo cha suna nga rang ke phagin jarpo te ki na yin tene leka dukja mambo le go wa cha gre. Tenra yen za nga jarpo chani trok mendo sonza nga chapa chini zo trokundo tenra semla tenra sam tene jarpo la nga chapa chikin se shubaris.
So di data sharibu rangi mitse de du mare de nguma chiwa nguma.
Rite ngeji nel hyong gare che tata song kara.
So so then the Buddha responded saying, many long ago, there was a great king, and this king had a son. So there was a prince. He gave birth to a son. And as the prince grew older, he would see the actions of his father. He would see that as a king, there were many demands and kingly duties that had to be met. And sometimes this required him to engage in really good, very wholesome and positive behavior. But also sometimes it caused him to engage in non-virtuous, unwholesome, or negative behavior. And so then the prince thought to himself, oh, in the future, I'm going to become a king like my father, but I don't want to end up with the same fate of having to engage in a number of negative activities or bad, to do some of these bad things. So it would be better instead if I became a monk. And so the prince decided to take ordination and become a monk.
Tene korang ke phagin yap jabote la kong trawa chigi yin shudu te jabote ke ndrige maris churang ku yo chen ndrige mari kain sina churang maung ba ke jabo chei ko gri nga jabote korang trong sade te churang jabo chi go gri tene ku yo chen na pinto che yo mari tene chorang jarpo che na tene langpo che la shung ta tada che na jarsi chong ne tene jibo hiwi yore chorang tada de gogre la paris.
And so so he did, I got ahead of myself. He didn't become a monk. He decided he wanted to become a monk. He decided he would become a monk. But first he had to ask his father's permission. So he took it to the king and he expressed his wish, his desire to take ordination, to become a monk. And the king denied his request. He said, no, that is not okay, because in the future, you need to take the throne. Once I have passed on, you need to rule the kingdom. You will be king and you can ride an elephant and you can protect the kingdom. If you become a monk, it won't be of any benefit.
Tene ta jarse te tene tapa zo ma chi rwa te de. Tene kong ke jarse te ke lampo che te shung tene kong chamchang la pa yung baris. Chamchang la pa yung du langa jing ni tene na matang bo jing ko la popa popa je yor de cha popa de cha de yore cha broken begging ball cha de wa tene ko lakpa la laktin kharwa yo kharwa je zong tanda be la yong de tene tar jarse te ke trawa ti bare tanda trambo de la oh churang tanda ji ne ta churang trapa meji kare che yin se jarse te ke trawa ti bare trambo de la tene trambo te ke jarse te la lin jamne o nga trapa chi gona trapa kunya ke tulo chugu tanda yo mari chi ni nga la sama longsa ke the popa tanda mis longzi la rap chukel te mi sonza nga tawa chi ta ma song la japare.
And so, as the prince, he then, following the wishes of his father, he did not become a monk, and he rode an elephant. And as he was riding an elephant one day, wandering around out in the village, he came across a beggar, and the beggar was clutching a broken begging bowl. So his begging bowl had broken, and he was like holding the clay pieces in his hand. And the prince asked the beggar, "Why don't you become a monk? Why not become ordained?" And the beggar responded, saying, "Well, if I were to become a monk, I would need to get a hold of, monks' robes. I don't have any clothing, like any robes, and I don't even have a begging bowl. I have nothing to, no bowl with which to beg for food. So I can't become a monk."
Tene jarse te ka tenda ina tara lungzi tang tene chugu nga churang la te cho churang tabache tang la paris tene tambo te ke ya labdu tene kong ke chugu tang lungzi nambaris tambo te.
So then the prince said, "Oh, well, I will provide you with monk's robes and a begging bowl." And so he did.
Tene tatambo te tang tenda jarse te ni tene sacha tenda ne wimpa che la tene tangsong tenda nyamni nang kin che yug de yore tene tin den la chin de tene tambo te trawa chi chubaris.
And so then together with the prince, the beggar, or the beggar and the prince went together to a solitary and isolated location where there was a great sage. And there in the presence of the sage, or the beggar requested ordination. Or he took ordination.
Tene jarse te malo penghunde sernang malo hunde tene tambo te la paris kare la paris shubaina ta chorang ke te la nyamni nang jima chorang la ngarang cho chat ta la yo chat ta ta nu pa ndo thun suna ngala lab cho a lamne la paris tene tambo te ke khelang nge la gui lamne khelang bari tene jarse nang na malo swaris.
And so before the prince returned home to his kingdom or his castle, he said to the beggar, "You stay here and practice, and when you have results, when you start to develop his spiritual power and understanding, come let me know of your results." And so the beggar agreed, or he promised the prince that he would.
Tene tenda tambo te ke ti transong dun tane ka chu shu ta nyamli mambo nang de de tene kon la zumchar tenda tun thya ke tene ta thon ne sre ris ne ba thon ris.
And so the beggar received many Heapith instructions, and he practiced for very intensively. And eventually he started to manifest signs of attainment and was able to enact magical feats, or he was able to perform miracles.
Teni ta kong tambo te ke tin o ta nga la jarse te ke chugu tan longzi nang trapa chi jo pe ka den chimbo chang song teni kong ke nga la ta ne pa chi thong su na lap hyo lap so ta nga te la ya ke tsu ri ya tin teni kong phe yong teni ta jarse te la thukpa res teni jarse la thung ne teni korang ke zat ta ne pa te so ta te sa ya kang yu ba te tin ba res jarse la.
Mhm. And so then, around this time, the beggar thought he reflected on the kindness of the prince, and he thought, "Wow, that was so incredible! I have everything. This is all due to the great kindness of the prince, who, provided me with the robes, monastic robes, and a begging bowl, and actually inspired me to." And to become a monk. And he asked me to tell him when I had developed some spiritual power. So surely now is the time when I should share this with him. I should let him know. And so he sought out the prince and met with him. And he revealed his accomplishments and spiritual powers.
Tene kong te tsarta te
demonstrated.
Jarse la tindu tene jarse hang san ne o ta tandang ne ta ne ke chu nyam ne chen tandang ne ba yo ba hang sang tene kong ke ta tendra ke ta hi trambo te yo tia trambo tara trapa che sun te ke kang ba la ngo to ne cha chan de tene kong molang top chimbo che tabare tene molang kare tabare sina ta nga maung balas ti chang chupo jawo ke se tabela che mogos kain sina ngala trawa chia ke chudubya ke te rawa modo te nga ha cha trambo che la ya che wa malin hyo kain sina tene ta trawa la goya ke thana longji dang chugu sun jwa ra ke modo ten de nga ti chang dingbo che la che de tene nga ta rap de chungwa ta trapa yong sho se ta kong mola samba na par da ba ga mola ta tene zong de tene kong ke ti ta trambo te tang trambo ko yo ta te tang trang song tene la ta hyab ju che tene suna mambo sa na ta chen du tene ta tara sharupo ke jewa te langwari so na sanje ke te la len te ta paris.
And so when he had demonstrated what he had accomplished to the prince was really just amazed. He was really inspired and amazed. And he touched his, with great respect and veneration, he touched his head to the feet of the beggar, who was now a great accomplished practitioner. He prostrated to him and he made very powerful, sincere aspiration prayers. And in these aspiration prayers, he said, "In the future, may I not be born as the son of a king, because as long as I am the son of a king, I don't have any freedom. But may I also not be born as a beggar, because if I am completely destitute as a beggar, I won't be able to afford a begging bowl or monk's robes. Instead, may I be born into a family of middling wealth, or a middle-class family." And so in this way, he made this very heartfelt aspiration prayer. And together, he and the sage and the beggar accumulated a really vast. They gathered very, very vast accumulations of merit in that life, and as a result of that, together with the aspiration prayers, Shariputra, the prince took birth as Shariputra, with the conditions that he had aspired for.
Oda te tabale jimde chewa nga male kare sapala te na tatan reru te mimba yamba tenda chahin chawa de ta sanje ke kona kinchin ke yore kain sina te yu sanje la 다 탐진 친비 시 세와도 요르와 디줌신게 딘누바 친구 요리스.
And so this is an example of how it is said that only no one except for the Buddha is able to completely and directly see the vast display of karmic causes and fruitions. And the Buddha is able to do so because he has omniscient wisdom. He has the wisdom in which all is perceived in its entirety.
당하라 조이나 데 다부크토니 데 다부토니다 레줌데 세주데 투추 자잠 링포 치나양 데비 준체 메데바 레게바 이나양 데리 메게바 이나 데리 teni kanta yang arang so ta so chikyu de lejum de la lejum de mhlaba yin bala yichi tepa yup toni teni lander ji go je te ta ngarang so ke namba sanji ba yin bechane ngin dang teni te ngarang so ke chemra wa cha de yobaris.
And so, in this way, we can also understand that karma, cause and effect, is infallible, and any time a virtuous cause is created, then regardless of the time period in which it may ripen, at some point in time or another, sometimes sooner and sometimes later, the result is always manifest. And likewise, it is the same with non-virtuous or unwholesome causes and their results. And so to develop real confidence and faith in the law of karma, cause, and effect, understanding that it is truly infallible, and being extremely cautious or attentive to even the smallest details with regard to what must be practiced and what must be given up, or what is to be adopted and what is to be avoided or discarded. And these because karma really is a law. It is a natural law. It is a natural law of how reality functions, as and has been pointed out to us as such by the Buddha.
Tene lejumde ketem shibate chi namba yimba ge songgo ba tang namba mayimba ge song mugu ba ta mari te chuba tamje ge songgo wa ta chuba mayimba ge song mugu ba yang mari lama trapan ro anen ro tanda ge songgo wa tang yinda maja phumo ge song mugu ba tanda yang mari tanda yin zang joban ji tin song gong ge te song ro wa gong chen na kakpa ye ga de ke kare song ri sina dikpa tamje ye do ma ne panza res nawa ye nang song ri nawa ye nang zu de gewa tamje drubja ri song ri wa te te sok song yo ri sina sanje ke te tar ha ko na song yong ba ri song ri wa.
So the way in which karma, cause and effect, is a natural law, it is not, it is a law and functions as a natural law, regardless of whether one is a Buddhist or not a Buddhist, whether one is a practitioner or not a practitioner, whether one is a monk or a nun, whether one is a male or female lay practitioner, the laws of karma, cause, and effect are the same across the board. And so, as Jigten Sumgön said in the Gong Chik, that which is non-virtue, or that which is negativity, is always to be abandoned or always to be given up primordially. It is primordially so. And that which is virtue or wholesome is at all times and primordially from the beginning to be practiced, to be taken up. It is so essentially virtue and non-virtue are primordially so.
Tene te tab lejum de ke them te la ngarang so ke ni dung chung chung ri tin chung de nami tang wa ina ten lejum de ke ngarang so nami tang yong ke yori lejum de ke ngarang so nami tang tang te tene de dunga mi yong ke yoris
Kung tayo po kumasong.
ngarang so ke lemde nga he otte tunda chung chung ri tin pa nan chung je ba ina lejum de la pa tene lejum de ngarang so chur nan chung ji yong ke yori chur nan chung ji tang te ngarang so la de dunga yong yong ke yorwa ten dunga ne ngarang so mdu ba ke ngo ji ro wa
So sometimes there is a regard, we might recognize, even though there's understanding or faith in karma, cause and effect, sometimes we may think, oh, this is just a small non-virtue. This is really, not so important. It's something really small. I don't really have to, it's okay if I do this small, little, not so virtuous thing. And then we give ourselves permission to do whatever it is. But that cause, no matter how small, will issue forth a result, and the result will be suffering. And suffering is what we don't want to experience.
Te yunde gewa chung chung yina yang na chik tsam yina drop thap da deba yina yang ko lemde yindu teken dewa dewari. Ngarang so gewa chung chung yina tela tsa chimbo tsine drop yum pa drop dedu teni lemde teke ngarang so tsar tsa chimbo tsine ko ngarang so la dewa mi yung ko yobarwa. Te ngarang so la goya ne dewa rewa. Dewa mo go lang kim pa che so ya jomarita.
And likewise, even with the smallest of virtues, we shouldn't think, oh, that's really so insignificant. It's not so important that I do it. Even, it's really a very small or insignificant, virtuous or wholesome thing. But no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, then any virtuous or wholesome cause will bring about the corresponding fruition. And in fact, sometimes even something seemingly very small and insignificant can end up bearing a really profoundly vast, favorable fruit, or it can really result in really a great, very vast or very strong manifestation of happiness. Because according to karma, cause and effect, when the virtuous cause is created, then the resultant happiness or favorable condition ripens, and it ripens as happiness. And there's nobody who doesn't want happiness. We all want happiness, right? There's no one who doesn't want to be happy.
Ta ngarang zo ge che lejum de ga he che nan chong do la ta chung chung rin do tin pe na mi hyon do yore ma do ke lama ge wi ni nyam ni che de din ba yong ken te so ke chung chung yin na yang lem de chung za ni za chen bo zen de lan do nang ge yore del den da yin za ko na ba lan re chen bo to yong ge yore pe na je zong kha ba ke sum ba ro Tinder mele zam chek tope nas mele zam zon de tara poke nan zam zon ya de 就当穷穷的，切切穷穷的，我就搞有，没了怎么多呗呢？这次打不结巴做吧，打的打不结巴，这次这打他刚打tìm着没了怎么就多吧呢？总的tìm着的。Jum de ten thar ton na tim de la thod yo ra te tim de de je sa pa la tin ne rev ten jong ai ba mal ba ra te cham je to ba la tin ne tin ko pe ngaran so ka ta wa la su ba tam je ke ne dong yong zo ba ha ko ri song ne sum ba ya je chong ka ba ke nga so ta wa tin jong sum do te ga na yin ke ore tam bo te song na
Kunta Jetson Kaba Gare Sumire Yamchar Tata K Tesa Che Dogandola the Dring Shira Yapo Yomare connection.
Jetson Kaba ke
So Jetson Kaba
Tinder wa chek chil tin de wa pen jo la tin de ba yo ba Tinder mala cham che mala ba yin ba cham ha ko ndus jo yo nan de ba je he yo ba mala ba yin ba cham ha ko ndu tini ta wa ke nenga ha ko gri song le ta wa nenga na ba san je ba ke ta wa ka re ta wa tin jin ren jong re wa
So even though there are many very small actions that can lead to a tremendous accumulation of virtue, and all of the great spiritual teachers recognize that, and so therefore they often show or demonstrate a special interest. They regard even the smallest of details, virtuous details, with a great importance. They attribute really great importance to very small virtues, or seemingly small or insignificant virtues. So they regard them as very precious and important, knowing that even the smallest of wholesome actions can ripen in a really tremendous fruition or karmic result. And so Je Tsongkhapa has said, merely understanding the infallibility of interdependence is one has understood the crucial point of the view. And so the Buddha's view is essentially, or the exalted view of Buddhism is that of interdependence, or dependent origination and karmic interdependence. And so And within this, then, there is the understanding that when whatever the array of causes, virtuous or non-virtuous, or wholesome and unwholesome, they all bring about the corresponding result, or they all ripen as the corresponding result when the timing and conditions are appropriate. And this is an infallible, undeceiving law.
Tega na yin ke choban ji tin sum gung ke sum barwa jumde je timder chin je go song mo khovel lengi rang sar he song nandong kar sina jumde je timder chin je zo de chin je ta jumde timder de chin mambo yong pa nang ke de chin je 하고 송스 대칭직 하고네 되니 코랑게 랭인 바탐제 유코 랭인 바탐제를 용서 탈송송 코타와 하고 거로 단다송도 된드 코 대칭 중총 제인나야 단다자 침보 저용 거로 공나바이나 텔레티네데 코 좀대 침보 통용 거로
Gongta di dambu luntin garere chicken sumgan sumbi jude tende
jotan driver ke pas timder imba jotan driver chek jil tin du yo ba te tanda ke dechin qianbo dawa yang na detsin mangbo yo ba nang detsin jik zam ha ko song si te chi ha si po cha so
Detsin chi kyang ha ko na.
detsin jik zam just a piece of chadalaram re detsin jik
Yeah, di ko song. Yin yang de jim de kama de.
korang ke
Okay.
korang ke leng ba korang ke leng ba tam chi le yong su tar song song re
Oh yeah. Okay. Likewise, Lord Jigten Sumgan said, among all of the different categories of interdependence, interdependence of causes and effects, to only understand one, and only even understanding one category, then one becomes completely free of negative, or one becomes fully liberated from negative activities or negative karma. So in understanding just one aspect, one small aspect of interdependence, karmic interdependence or dependent origination, then this is enough to bring all negative activities to an end. One becomes completely free from the inclination to engage in negative conduct or negative activities, because one has, even in just understanding one aspect of interdependence, one has developed such an unmistaken understanding, or through that one really understands the unmistaken view.
ina yang ta tara jitin sum jung gom bo tang je rom bo je chong ka ba khona ba ke jumde ke ne tang chung chung ma to ha ma go re sina te mare khona ba ke chirtang ke to ne ke pa tang tra ke king ba jong ne tra sung ke yo ba re ma do ke khona ban ro na ko yong su zo ba ha ko de yo re ina yang ngarang so ke chung chung la na mi ma je ne kar chin tsa go ke tonda tar do ha ko nan de ke yo res.
So that isn't to think that, like Jigten Sumgun and Je Tsongkhapa only understand like some small aspect of karmic interdependence or karma cause and effect, because that is certainly not the case. Great masters such as these two have a really fully developed and complete understanding. But for people like us, ordinary beings like us, this instruction is very insightful, in that only even if we were to understand just a small aspect, that would bring about an incredibly an incredible fruition.
Yang ko timber tanda ne nga chung chung je ha ko na yang reg de yore kain sena jumre ke timber ke ne nga chung chung zam ha ko na te kan reg de yore kain sena me to ko saung chung chung je la te ne me to ga da ma ton tha ma po jin je chog do wa te ta ber ba.
And it is okay to even just to understand one tiny aspect of interdependence, because it is always a small seed that ripens into or blossoms into something fully developed. Like even just a tiny little seed can produce a really resplendent and a beautiful flower.
Oh yeah, that tian chu ke lemre ko la tene chubare tarong tes le jurite ta tes ko te jorgom do tani da chukpa tere dungar nimjong ke jorn dokpe gebi hini de shipar cha so ta dunga la ya te ngaran so dunga le tor go ya ta tablet tabhite jike yore de la tortang je yore ta tortang de kare sina pena donga la soba thamche donga ndami yongdu de ko la ngin jong je jike jor ko yo ba yin zang yang donga de so la gir hini da hi go ri song
This chasong samako masong kong ta.
donga te ngarang chu mundu ba ga donga chiri yene ya mundu ba indu ngarang chu ga donga te panggo yorwa ta pangtang te kanda panggo gri zon du tan dena donga ngimjong ge jor tan ko wala ngimjong chi zi ge jor en be tsenna tene ko ge bi hin ta de ha ko go ri son
Oh. So then this leads us also to so di drupa rewa. This leads us to the sixth, which is since suffering is the cause of renunciation, it should be treated as a spiritual teacher. And so suffering, though generally we have an attitude of, of course, not wanting to experience suffering. We want to be free from suffering. But the way to become free from suffering, the only way to become free from suffering is to first give rise to renunciation. It's the foundational mind or attitude of renunciation that begins one's journey to freedom, achieving freedom from samsara. And so therefore, actually, suffering becomes like a spiritual teacher because it becomes the cause for giving rise to or generating real renunciation.
Ngarang zo like donga he 대son rada tambo laya le deji yoris koranzo lai bada bumo zongzi ba zhen ba rong arwa chapchang yu zang teni gewa laya de semni tin to gamari sonro ngaranzo mayon dala teni donga da dewan jima yu zang teni donga nyong de teni ngave ta tele thandu ko lo che gri sonro songza.
So in fact, we always speak of this in terms of the why the human realm is actually a more favorable birth than taking birth in the God realms, because in the God realms there's really close to there is no suffering. There's only everything pleasant and beautiful and enjoyable. All of the male and female gods there have beautiful forms. They're extraordinarily attractive. Everything smells good. Everything has this just exquisite taste and sounds and so on. All of the qualities of the senses are thoroughly enjoyable and exceedingly pleasurable. But in the human realms, we have like just the right amount of suffering to incite us or cause us to give rise to a sense of renunciation that actually becomes something that enables us to enter the path of Dharma. And without a sense of suffering, then there is no cause for the wish to become free to arise.
Tene tanda laya ke dechi teang takpa timba tanda ma inpa tene koran so dunta mahib dunta chek zam ngone tene koran so la dungak ngozo tene ta laya ni ma tarati yada da nyawa tundo thamji la chen ro ko yoba koran so ka lai ngun hi le tin ha ko ta so le den tini koran zo pe mesi ba ga ta la yo la cha yin chen bo yo zang de ji chen bo yo ba de la cha yin chen bo yo zang ta ko nya wa ji so na ta ko sam ji ma cha ba dong ha yo ba de a jang jang de yin de ta yinda che ngarang su mayan rawo tang da che yinda ma tondo la so ba la kamla chen ro yo ba ha kon de tin koran su la dunga sam je me cha ba yo ro wa tin tenda yen za ko la yo ke de wa de ha tak juru jing kran yin ro wa ma ta pran yi.
However, at the end of, even though the gods have so much pleasure and enjoyment throughout their lives, towards the end of their life, about a week or so before, they really plunge into a state of tremendous torment and suffering because these signs of aging and death start to appear all at once. And not only that, but they are able to see with clairvoyance that they are being propelled into a state of rebirth in lower realms, in the inferior states, in the realms of hell or hungry ghosts. And so then they just have tremendous agony and suffering because they have been so attached to the bliss and pleasures of the God realm that seeing that they are about to be transitioned into states of just inconceivably excruciating torment in the lower realms, which of course, even for us in the human realm, we can see the misery of the animal realm. So we can see how being born as an animal is a state of ongoing suffering. And so the realms of hungry ghosts and hell beings are even much more terrible than that. And so the gods, seeing this, then they go through tremendous suffering, and then they experience the suffering of change and falling to lower rebirth, because everything is impermanent. So even the happiness of the God realms is impermanent.
Peje yore tala tam peje tela kare la rusina ne pa ge yong du mi ba cha no gri sare ne pa kai za ko ta mi ja nya teksa te ne jin ko ga mi kare ke ne kare la phin ke yo chama ko ha kon ra ti na yin tara nga so jigdi me yan dala dunga yore te ndu ta dunga de so so ke tambo nyam su nyo ne teni o ta te ta be dunga ji ma phar ba ma yin ba ji lo yu na teni kanda dunga yo ba so so ha ko yin zang teni jam ba da ning ji la ya de so teni jian ko yo ro yang.
So it is often said that someone who has suffered from illness, or somebody who has really struggled in their life with illness or sickness of some sort, ends up becoming a doctor. And this is really true because oftentimes, as somebody who has struggled with illness becomes really familiar with what is needed to treat illness, they become familiar with all sorts of different medicines, and they learn what kind of regimens and therapies are helpful. And so then often it can be the case that somebody who has experienced a certain type of suffering becomes kind of the expert in that field, such as, a doctor, someone who is sick becoming a doctor. And so it's kind of like this with regard to our experience in the human realm. It's like, because there is suffering, we have really become skilled in what is needed to overcome suffering. And not only that, because we know suffering just sort of to the right amount, then we also have the ability to have love and compassion for others who we witness suffering, because we have known and tasted that suffering for ourselves. And so therefore, we can really empathize with and identify with the suffering of others, which leads to, or which causes one to be able to generate love and compassion.
Certain que chani donga tali ji tabna te ke donga mambo se ke yore te ngake simkan re potone sono tama ina ya.
Simkam Rikpatogne?
Simkan re potone sono tandu yang hako ke yore zone.
So also it is really there are benefits in embracing suffering and actually really inviting or embracing suffering, even just looking at it from kind of like a practical, logical perspective. That's all. Marebe.
Ori tani dambatero tani deji korbe zawaran dogbe hincha du de hibar jas 당가는 졸라양 내가 증코 알아지 되지 요바 단다라 양 신차제 대바이나 덴테게 다 나랑 증코 안달라 신차 제대바이나 말요 그때 신차 제대바나 덴코 안달라 내야 그 자완다고 차대 인도 되는 내가 그 되지 탐제 두다도 히거리스 두라야 된노 타톡 노 징킨다로 삼노 동코요라
So then number 7 says, the pleasure and comfort of this life are the causes of rebirth, so they should be treated as craving and attachment to Mara, or you could say as the craving and attachment of Mara. So when there is craving, when one is attached to samsaric phenomena, or when one is really attached to the pleasures and comforts of this life, that attachment itself is like the root of samsara. And so this attachment is in fact Mara, and Mara is the one who harms, who prevents one from accomplishing or her realizing the ultimate truth.
Hene kap ke ta de chin timbe la cha ne tani tanda chi ndu tani chu de bia la so batan je samna mangkor tanda on tani ko nam yang ta tanda mambo rin du te ke tan ko andala ne ya ke jo mambo sa ro le mambo sa ro yo zang tani ne ka gu de chi la ma cha song Sukawati molam na song yura Amitabha molam na dana mata laye dechi me dechi kanda me dechi in the tam do dan read the book sama na yin sitin sama tenda sama suna tama so 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 thonora
Kimbola gongda chune gayan ko tu masong be kim sa cha song ke kim sa cha song gayan ko matu banang shin cha song.
Oh yeah. Tere
the chirang mare the logle rawa logle
ale
the yapo mendo nga rang chirang so la ke yapo ko ge sare nga chirang ke se che do ge re yapo ko ge mare.
Oh las tata go to yura
that the sick relation to go to kyo.
Oh yeah. Tarangaran so dewa jing molan yorewa. Tina na song yore. Ngaran so tara neka ke dewa ndso. Teni sama na dog ndideba na yinris. Dog yowa. Teni tanda sama suna teni tama so ke so. Tro ro yorewa. Tina yinke. Tene chagi maji so.
Okay. Ti ko sang tu chinang. Ka tering ya pomendo mine. So in the aspiration prayer to be reborn in Dewa Chen, in the extensive aspiration prayer, it says that the temporary happiness of this life is like a delicious food mixed with poison. And so if we eat the food, then even though temporarily there's the enjoyment of having a tasty meal, in the end, it ends up being the cause that takes our life. It ends up costing us our life. And so therefore, in the same way, it isn't, when there is attachment to the temporary pleasures of this life, in the long run, there ends up being great harm.
Oh, yeah, tini ta jepate. Denze chu jengar jin den do be sunam parche de shibar ja song. Nandi kaps yang around so chitang sunam laya te karchim boring around so goya te re de ina yang around so che tonda misa ke che karela goro ta che gahe yang che dikpa drobya la tunjin cha de ba sunam yorwa ta sunam lamna dikpa drobya la tunjin cha songwa te ta we che ina tene parche imba ha ko go ri son ta te kapso sem ke tin hi ting go ya te songdo.
So then there's the eighth, which is merrymaking in the gathering and festivals are obstacles against the accumulation of merit. So they should be treated as obstacles of merit. Another way to read it would be, since entertainment or diversions are in contradiction to the Dharma, they should be regarded as merit, which can become obstacles. Or I think it can be read like that, or maybe obstacles to merit. But the way that Kimpola explained it sounds like actually the merit itself can become an obstacle, because so when there are a lot of sort of favorable, pleasurable circumstances that arise in one's life as the result of merit and accumulation of merit, if those end up taking the form of like diversions where there's a lot of enjoyment and merrymaking, but it's really pretty meaningless. There's really just meaningless or frivolous. Then those diversions end up becoming causes that only cause one to increase negativities or to accumulate non-virtues. And so it can be the case that sometimes as a result of merit, merit can ripen in such a way that that it ends up can lead to becoming conducive circumstances to like creating obstacles, or conducive circumstances for generating non-virtue. And in that case, then it really becomes a great obstacle. So it is important to have mindful awareness with regard to this.
Gobateri parche gebjor ke kurmando be dragwik lamar shipar cha so tande nga so dimba no cha de yore pena ngaran so ke ta na cha la so batang teni yin ke parche mambo yodu teni ta gewa dropa ke tunjin rawo chi la so so ge jor ta ba na chad yori segewa de tunji te pen tren ka chang da na cha mambo yori lo che ne ta na samje ma cha pa ke ta ka nga chimbo che ne tang wo lo yu pa ri te yang cho yin che ne ta ba ina Teni around Sumambo, Cheketa, Geva Drove, Shandun Song, Ninje Ji, Pinsun Roba Ji, that and Rachiki Ura and Soso Rang or Churta Yambayana, Yang Geva Drobake, Tunchin Chad Yuri. He Teni Parabo, Dongan Musunyong to Simjin Tamjela Sam Dawayana, then around Ninje Ji at the Roba Jaya Las Batana Yonkuyuzam, Teni Yang. Da gewishini da gogoris.
So then number 9 says the obstacles and accidents and urge to cultivate virtues. So the enemies and obstacles should be treated as our teachers. So this can definitely be the case that, for instance, by having a period where there are seeming obstacles or difficulties and hardships such as illness and so forth, conditions that would be seen as obstacles actually can become the cause for really deepening one's practice and increasing one's practice of virtue. So they actually can become conditions which are favorable to or that lend themselves to gathering virtue. So even for Nata Mangpo Lochik Darelain.
Tatang around so Nata Mambo Yorova and Zambalentina. Maranata Kanga Mambo Yorova like.
Dini?
Oh. Not too much. Then Teren Katangaran so la Nata Tang Tanaka Kanga Mambo Yore, then Yin Yang, Suso Gungone, then Nata to Sola, Hinang Tangamra Majine, then Suso Tesocolo, Darling of Ji, Darling Ji Lamnata, Kantar, Nata to so Uber the Jimsin Latine. Tang also mambo cheke geva drop shandung hakora shandung song shandung song shandung song yang rawo tang teni ta geva mambo drukhu yorwa teni ko yang teso parche yo jimsin le tinne
that's all. So, for instance, today we have this obstacle of widespread illness, and this is really a cause of a lot of suffering on the one hand, but on the other hand, there are a lot of there's a lot of virtue that this situation is also generating or stimulating. People are actually, as a result, people are helping one another. There are many who are really inspired or incited in such a way that they're really motivated toward virtue, and so we can see that in many ways, and so this often becomes the case when there are times of great difficulty and hardship. That sometimes when in the middle of great suffering or hardship, this is when people, sometimes the best in people, really comes forth, and people really are moved to generate a great deal of virtue or to practice virtue, and to have there's compassion that arises for one another. People, you see people helping one another, and so any time that there's a really difficult circumstance like this, then often it can become favorable conditions for generating virtue. And so And anytime one undergoes difficulty and hardship and suffering themselves, then they really have more of a basis for empathizing with or feeling compassion for others who are suffering. And so they are inspired to help others through having undergone the experience of their own suffering.
Di kapso ta ngarang chola jin parche gogri la huyo maris. Ina yang ko jewa ngama ka le tang tata ke jin la soba la tune jin parche la soba na cha la soba jong yong ba ina. Tani samno ton tang ku thoni tani ngarang cho ke ti jin parche to so par se ya tang. Yamana kanga to ma chor to ya la so batanda ke danga tanda la ngarang cho ke churkha jurba ina teni jurya ga tablam taphi hirap de ngarang cho yu chang o ta te ting yorwa.
So this isn't to say that we want to have adverse conditions and obstacles, but when there are adverse conditions and obstacles, our attitude toward them greatly affects the nature of those experiences. And so really, if our attitude is one that then is able to transform the experience into a basis for generating merit and virtue, then it is not really an obstacle. However, of course, when there are adverse conditions and obstacles, then we need to do whatever we can to clear away those obstacles, to diminish those hardships, and to do so in such a way that those efforts are motivated or engaged in with wisdom.
Ore deni ta chubate ton tambar chu tamje ranyi mi paran dokbe kangla yang nyamba ni de shibra cha so ta ton tambala ta dikpa magewa chi pa pang ja chik tang tampe chu chi chodrubya nika ton tambala tani ta yewa me pa nangkha ta cha de yoris tani te ta nangkha ta nyamba ni yimbe de do zangi chama nyamba ni to hi par cha gori songre.
So then the 10th says, the absolute truth is that all phenomena are without nature. One should know everything to be the same. So maybe another way to translate this would be, since on the ultimate level, all phenomena lack substantial nature, everything should be regarded with equanimity, or everything it can be regarded as sameness. So from the perspective of the ultimate truth, on the ultimate level, those negativities and non-virtues which are to be abandoned, and the Dharma, the sublime Dharma, which is to be practiced, are all of one equal taste, or they're the nature of sameness, like the vast expanse of the sky. And so in the from the perspective of the ultimate truth, all duality of happiness and suffering, positive and negative, are actually the nature of sameness. They are of one nature in equanimity.
Oh yeah, that na yana chizu chuk pat, right?
So now we can take a break then until and come back at 11 o'clock Arizona time.
Oh. sunan de ya tanje zeba nye dowa nye be dana ba ze jega nan ja ba lan de ba ya zeba zo lan de ba do wa jo. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. O Pama Zunje Danje Dedan Danger Jeng Indro Danje Dada Dongwara Chanchu Zamba Ganda Zajo Ba Deda Gunje Mulan Ba Jo Zimje Ne Ba Jinye Ba Nirde Nele Tarje Grobe Na Mara Ba Dadan Yoma Me Ba Jo Chanchu Simjo Rambo Je Ma Je Ba Nan Je Je Jiba Nyamba Meba Ye Gone Gondo Bewa Jo. Thank you very much.